Hey guys, what's going on? This is the Chinist, and what I have for you here today are the graphic novels that I have accumulated over the month of March. So, kicking it off, we have Sex Castle. So this is by Kyle Starks, and I believe written and illustrated by Kyle Starks. This was a recommendation from one of the owners at one of the LCS that I go to regularly. He was, I forgot what I was picking up, but he went ahead and recommended this. He said it was, pure comedy. The main character was really based off of, like 80s type of, Big Trouble in Little China, the character in that movie, forgot his name, but, this guy's like straight from the 80s movies, and, I think it was Amerikarate, I think is what it was. And I think when he saw that I was picking up Amerikarate, he suggested this graphic novel. So yeah, I haven't gone through this yet, but I also know that the writer for this one, who was at Kyle Starks, also did the Rock Mountain Candy title that came out just this past week, which I have yet to read. So yeah, Sex Castle. Okay, next up we have 7 to Eternity. So I actually picked this one up in single monthly issues, and I loved it so much I wanted to read through it just one more time, from start to finish, the first arc, which I believe this is just issues 1 through 4 is what this graphic novel is. So yeah, I love this one. I thought the artwork by who was this? Jerome Pena. I thought the artwork by Jerome Pena was, phenomenal in this. It's this like fantasy artwork feel to it with extreme detail. So man, this is phenomenal in my opinion. I mean, this is like a 4.75 out of a 5 on the artwork side. The 2-page splashes that are throughout these issues. I mean, just take a look at this. Oh my gosh. So yeah. This story arc, everyone has, or the main team, they all have powers. So, you have like the mutant superpower feel to it, while you have like the Lord of the Rings, like tight-knit group of, like mercenaries storyline to go along with it. You have like the evil king, the Shadow King, who is the main opponent here. So yeah, great stuff. I highly recommend everyone to pick up 7 to Eternity. Okay, so next up we have Habitat by Simon Roy. So this is by Image. I think this one just came out in either 2015 or early 2016. I didn't really know anything about it. The premise was pretty intriguing to me. I think this was also on sale online when I picked this one up. So yeah, this one, the artwork is a little bit different. This is kind of, really reminds me of some of the artwork that came from the heavy metal days when I used to read the heavy metal magazine. So yeah, this one, this was kind of like a futuresque technology, but in like an older civilization, feel to it. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one, Habitat. Okay, next up we have The Fix. So I really passed this one up on single issues. I remember, kind of thumbing through issue number 1 when it came out. I wish I would have picked it up. I put it back down. But, everyone is just all over this one, saying that this is one of the most hilarious titles that are out there right now. And, so I decided to go ahead and listen to everyone's recommendation, and I picked up this volume number 1. I have yet to pick up any single issues of this title so far, but, I'm kind of aware of what the overall storyline is, but I really want to read through it and see what all the big hype is about, see what everyone's talking about. The Fix. Okay, so next up we have Meltdown. I don't really recall anyone talking about this one. I think this one is by Image. So this one is kind of like Superman in its final days at the end of the New 52 Superman when he died. And this one here, it's kind of similar to where this character here, and I wish that, the artwork is really only about a 2, out of 5 in my opinion. So I'm hoping that the storyline carries the overall goodness of this title here. But so this character, his superpowers are essentially killing him from the inside. And so, you see this epic, adventure that this character goes on the final days. And again, it really sounds like it mirrors the Superman in his final days. But anyways, this main character, you see what he tries to sacrifice on his final days, and he kind of, I guess, try to go through a full character story arc within this one series. So yeah, Meltdown sounded good. Okay, so next up we have Push, and I think this was another one that was on sale for only $5 or $8. But I really enjoyed the movie that came out with Chris Evans back in, I think it was like 2003 or something of that nature. But they're essentially, you have mutants that very, very select few who are maybe 0.5% of the world population, and there's only a few powers that are out there. Telekinesis is out there, and then you have like a sonic screamer like Banshee or Black Canary, and then you have some that kind of foresee the future. I can't remember if there was like any superpower people, but yeah, only like a few powers that are out there, like the sonic scream here. But I thought the movie was great. I don't think it was, it got very good reviews when it originally came out. But man, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it had a great storyline, great adventure that was in there. So this is actually a prequel that happens. I think this is like in 1986 is when this storyline happens, and then you get into the movie called Push. So yeah, I'm going to read through this one. I don't have too much high hopes for this one, but I saw the movie not too long ago, so looking forward to getting back into that one. Okay, so next up we have Second Sight. So this one's by Aftershock. So only thing I'm aware of is this guy, when he gets on these drugs, apparently, he's able to see, kind of like a supernatural second sight. And I believe he's trying to patch together like a murder mystery to see, what exactly happened. So he's able to, have the second sight, get on these drugs, or use his ability to kind of see what's going on. So the artwork I thought looked pretty good from the few snapshots I saw online. So I went ahead and picked this one up. I don't really recall seeing this one on the racks, to tell you the truth. I may have just, passed it by. But yeah, the premise on this one seemed like it was pretty intriguing to me. So picked it up, Second Sight. Okay, so next up we have Hillbilly by Eric Powell. I've enjoyed a lot of Eric Powell that I've read so far. The Loon is one of his more popular titles out there. I didn't really like that one too much, to tell you the truth. I do like some of his other storylines he has out there, and I enjoy his artwork as well. So I actually passed up number one, or I passed this up in the monthly trades, but when I passed it up, I've kind of put like a little mental tick in there to pick it up when it came out in trade. So this one came out in trade not too long ago, just a few weeks back in the month of March. So yeah, looking forward to reading through this one. I understand that each storyline is kind of like its own little separate storyline, which is totally cool to me. So yeah, I enjoyed the artwork, so looking forward to see what this is all about. I know that the number one was going for some pretty good money on the aftermarket. Okay, so next up, getting into my Valiant run that I picked up from last month. I've yet to read Bloodshot Reborn. I did read through Bloodshot Reborn number 0, and I guess I found out it actually was a 0 to this story arc in lieu of the current story arc that's right about to come out. So yeah, again, I've said it before in other videos, I'm getting into Valiant universe right now. I've read quite a bit of older story arcs now, so I'm pretty well caught up. I'll show you this last run that I have here, and I think I have one more on order that I'll be getting here next week to kind of finish up all the older Valiant stuff that interests me. So I'll be up to date on Valiant. So yeah, Bloodshot, I'm getting a little bit more into this guy now. And I guess to quasi-continue on the Bloodshot run, so I believe I got this one through Comic Bento, I think. But this is 4001 AD, and this is actually, so, obviously in the future, in the year 4001, and this is like New Japan, and this is actually a new Bloodshot. This is not the Bloodshot that's, like in Reborn. These are new characters that the Japanese government injected the nanite technology into other soldiers or, or whoever the volunteers were in 4001. So yeah, this one pretty interesting. Again, I'm getting into Bloodshot, and this is like another version of Bloodshot in a sense. So yeah, 4001 AD. Okay, so next up we have Divinity. This is Divinity number 1, and I picked up Divinity 1 as well as number 2. I've seen these summarized on YouTube, and I just read through Divinity number 3. I didn't fully understand the very end of Divinity number 3, so I wanted to read through these 2 story arcs to see what it was all about. How it really all started, to see if I missed any detail in here, see if I'm going to pick up anything else, because I do want to reread through Divinity 3 after I read through Divinity 1 and 2 for myself. So again, I'm aware of what kind of happens. These Russian astronauts go out there, on their journey in outer space. They kind of run into something. I don't really remember what the something is. Maybe this thing, I don't know. But that's where they get their, reality altering powers. So it really all starts here. So I want to see what it's really all about. Okay, next up we have Halo. And I think this one came as in my comic bento last month as well. Again, I've played all of the Halo online storylines that they have. I'm aware of all the entire Halo universe. I never read any of the novels, but I've read through like summaries, on the side, just to be aware of what the storylines were about. So yeah, always kind of interested in the overall Halo world. I always prefer to have a Spartan in my storylines that I read. They do other things that it's just about the Marines with just regular powers. Unless it really gets into like some of the history of the Covenant, I'm not really interested in those. But yeah, this one seemed to have some Spartans in here, so yeah, looks interesting to me. Okay, so next up we have Dan Dare, and this one again came through a comic bento. This is by Garth Ennis, who did The Boys, which I really enjoyed, also by Dynamite Publishers. So yeah, don't know too much, about this one. This seemed to be like more like a Flash Gordon type of feel to it, maybe like in current world, current time, Flash Gordon, if he was to be reborn here. So yeah, this one just seemed okay to me. I wouldn't pick this one up otherwise, but I will be reading through this one with an open mind. Okay, similar to this one, I believe this is Dynamite as well. This is a hardcover back, and this one came in through Comic Bento as well. I kind of read up just a little bit more about the storyline, and it seemed pretty intriguing to me. So, everyone has superpower, or I'm sorry, not everyone, but there are superhero powers involved in here, like mutants. And the storyline seemed to be pretty thrilling, so we'll see what this is all about. I really don't know too much about this one, so yeah, wild cards. Okay, so next up, I've just started getting into Riri Williams. I've never really been a true fan of Iron Man in the comic world. I love the Robert Downey Jr. Marvel Universe version of Iron Man. So, since I'm into Riri, I just want to go back just a little bit to see what happened with Tony, just like, right before Civil War kind of kicked off. I'm sorry, Civil War 2 kicked off. So, yeah, I think this is a story arc right before Civil War 2. If I'm not correct, please comment down below and correct me, because I wanted to just kind of read through to see what happened to Tony just kind of right before, just kind of catch up what happened in the comic world. So yeah, Invincible Iron Man. Okay, so next up, I'm trying to get into the Avenger comic world just a little bit more right now. So I picked up volume number 1 and volume number 2 of the New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis. So I really enjoyed the movies that came out. And, I picked up some older, like Mark Waid Avengers in the past, and, enjoyed some of it. Some of it was boring. Some of the storylines were okay. But, looking forward to reading through some more current Marvel comic book storylines that are out there right now. So the artwork in here, looked pretty good to me. This is about, like a 3.75 out of 5 in my opinion. And of course, I love quite a bit of storylines that are out there by Brian Michael Bendis at this point in time. So I'm really, I have high expectations of this one. Wolverine's in this one as well. Wolverine has been, almost always one of my, most favorite pastime heroes ever. I started with the X-Men, and this is the, the current, or not current, but the Logan that I grew up with. Before the old man Logan, before he, died, and old man Logan kind of came around, but. Anyways, looking forward to reading through this one and see what it's about. I think a lot of people have recommended this run by Brian Michael Bendis in the past. Okay, so getting into DC, we have Injustice. This is year number 5. So I've read through 1 through 4. I think this is a pretty good storyline in my opinion. I think 1 through 3, I can't remember when, Superman basically got the pill from Batman at the very end of that story arc of that year. It was either year number 2 or 3. They could have ended it right there, in my opinion. And I recall year number 3 just not really being that great. So I'm looking forward to see how they tie this one up. Of course, this is the very last year, and then they go back to the current series right now, which is year number 0. Which I guess is how it kicked off, or some back scenes of how it really, got kicked off. So yeah, looking forward to see how they kind of, tie up this little future tangent, storyline that they have going on. Again, there's a lot of good action in here. I think some of the heroes that we know are not really acting, how they should be, because you still have all the previous history that's there, as we knew, up until when Superman basically killed the Joker, which kind of set off this entire Injustice run. But I don't know, some of the dialogue makes sense for the characters, some of it, doesn't. But overall, it's been pretty good, pretty fun read, something a little bit different. I'd say this is way better than the current Justice League storyline that's out there right now. But yeah, want to read through year number 4. Okay, yeah, to see how it ends up. Okay, next up we have Punkrock Jesus. So this was another recommendation by the local owner of one of the local comic book stores that I go to. I'm not really a fan of black and white. I always prefer color. But this storyline here kind of intrigued me. This was like a clone of Jesus. And he's kind of growing up, and he's kind of like this celebrity idol. And, he's all over social media. They have like this, TV show to where it's like a, live documentary going on just, all the time, 24/7. And you kind of see how this guy's kind of coping with it. I don't think he has any powers or anything. He's not making magical fish by any means, but, just kind of how he's dealing with it. So this one kind of intrigued me. I think the owner had to talk me into this one just a little bit more than usual. So yeah, I'm going to read it, read this one with open mind, see what happens. So that's it for this month's graphic novel haul. Again, should you like what you see here, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.